They're gonna drive over it themselves? Yeah. Are they staging something? Ah, Gus's guy, yeah? Gotcha. It's an excuse for the guy that they killed. Interesting the significance maybe of that shot and the cigarette, actually. Is that going to be a tell? I mean, it's very hard to spot that, right? Yeah, a staged hit as well. So who's Gus going to frame and how's he going to use that to his advantage? Because I don't feel like he would do this specifically without also spinning the details of it to his advantage in some way. Maybe it's a case of like, look, we're getting attacked. Without Hector, without a person, a leader, person of power, we're in trouble here. Let me take over the territory. Let me replace Hector. Maybe that's how he takes power. Guys, I think you got it. Right, they left him alive as a message.
Can I make the call now?
Ooh. That one wasn't planned, was it?
Gotta make it look real.
Yeah, you got beef because of the 6th bag, dude. Let's not lie about it, yeah? Hello, and welcome to Better Call Saul Sunday. That's right, the show that happens on a Sunday. Today, episode 3 of season 4. Something beautiful. I wonder what it is. Is it me? Hey, it's all dirty to me. Flamingo! Check. Let's ride.
But he has a cousin called...
Swap it out?
That one is worth a boatload.
Why would Mike do this, by the way? Mike's set, Mike's sorted. $4,000. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if he'll reject this.
Guys in the office cross you? Done you wrong?
It's free money.
I find it interesting that Mike focuses on motive here. It demonstrates how he is governed versus Jimmy. From there, you can differentiate Mike from people like Jimmy, Gus, Walter White. Mike is almost passive. He acts out of necessity for a need that is largely harmless, at least in intent. The same can't be said for Jimmy. He doesn't need a motivation that's rational. He just sees an opportunity and feels it'd be a waste not to take it. That's a dangerous mindset that lays the foundation for a more morally egregious person, in my mind.
You walk by a 20 on the sidewalk? No, you pick it up.
Significantly more effort, though. Yeah, I thought so.
It's not for me.
Like, why would he? Can they fool the boys? That's the question. I mean, the fact that Gus ends up taking over, we know that in the future. I'd say, yeah. Fair play to him, though. Brutal as it is, it covers Nacho.
I think we should prepare a package for both.
Is that Kim Wexler right here?
This is Viola Goto, my new paralegal.
Interesting. Yeah. So sorry, we saw her coming in with her paralegal a second ago, which actually is interesting now that I realised that she's a paralegal, because as we all know, it was so difficult for Kim to actually hire somebody in that role. And I wonder at the change there. All of the things that have happened before, you know, the accident, the car accident, obviously everything else that's happened, and then coming into now, she's gone back into work and suddenly she can hire a paralegal. It's nice to get a bit of clarity. But sorry, what I'm interested in is, I think, when you have someone in power over someone else. Like, I mean, as they were walking in, I kind of saw Kim. She walked into the lift first. There was a moment, I'm going to go back just quickly, because this is what made me think of it. Just before they go into the lift here, the paralegal, sorry, I've just been told her name. I'm so sorry. I'll get it in a second. Before they go into the lift, the paralegal goes to kind of go in, realize Kim's going in. Kim goes in first, power, authority, and she kind of the paralegal backs off here.
Whatever's best for you.
There you go. Do you know what I mean? Just that little bit there.
Want me to start cracking on a draft when we're done here?
Okay, presses the button.
I'll do the first pass and then you can proof it.
Waiting for the lift, waiting for the
Whatever's best
lift.
for you.
Both go. Yep. Kim goes first. Subtle power thing there. And so that's what made me think of like Howard and Kim. But in this situation, obviously Kim is in the Howard position. The paralegal here is in the kind of the Kim position. I realized that, you know, Kim wasn't a paralegal necessarily, but I think the power play here is kind of symbolic. Right, mentor and mentee, right, which we've seen quite often through the show. We've seen that through Chuck and Howard, Howard and Kim, and now Kim and this lady right here. So sorry, it's interesting to me to see this dynamic and to see them walk in like this and have this new character here in this capacity, because I'm like, okay, how is this going to go moving forward? Is Kim going to treat her well? Is she going to inherit something from Howard, realize that she's, you know, maybe treating her a little bit worse than she should? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go, but I see the potential in it, and I wonder if they're going to use that.
Viola Goto.
Viola. Okay.
Sorry, I am about Charles McGill. I just have to ask, how's James handling it?
Well, that's sweet to ask.
Kim, you have got to see the models.
Hello. It's very chic. I love the lighting.
Look at this. The whole...
What's her face is, I'm so sorry. Her name escapes me, I'm so sorry. The lady here. She looks uncomfortable. She's a little bit like, why we're here? We got stuff to do upstairs, man. This is indulgent.
San Antonio, El Paso. This one is real special. Denver.
We okay, Kim?
Kim, is there something wrong?
No. It's a lot. It's a very fast, aggressive expansion.
I can get the notes to you by EOD if that's okay.
It's a lot of work, innit? Maybe that's what's going through her head.
Actually, you're right before. Why don't you take a stab at it and then I'll take a look.
I wonder if her head's really in this anymore. Because that's the thing. Before all this, we were kind of getting to a place when she got injured of all of this work is too much, right? That was the thing that she, I think, was worried about. And what he's essentially just given her here is a scale model of all the work that she's going to have to do. And I think perhaps she sees the potential for a future of what landed her here with the broken arm in the first place and what effect that had on her. And I think the resolution she had going forward to be like, no, I can't let that happen again. And I think she sees here that this is a problem because of that. Yeah, which is admirable from her perspective. It's going to be interesting to see how she deals with it. And is significant maybe when just a minute ago she was like to Viola, yeah, actually, you take a stab at it. Offloading a bit more work because she knows she's going to have a lot to do.
Do you gold? I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but...
Fair enough, yeah. Context dump. The vet couldn't get a yes and Jimmy came in and easily got a yes. I see a possible path here that's leading Jimmy to the Saul I know in Breaking Bad. We're seeing him more and more take control, do things that other people can't in ways that lords power over them. This has happened more than once in the last 2 episodes, and I can see Jimmy's mind at some stage getting to a point where he thinks, I know best. I'm smarter than these people. I know how to control these people, so why shouldn't I? There's no Chuck keeping him in check anymore. No limit to him flexing his capability. All that stands in his way to use all of his talents is persuading himself that he can and should. This links back to why it's so important we're shown where he's at motivation wise. He's in a place where he doesn't really need one, which is one less barrier to him doing the thing, whatever that might be, which means he's closer to persuading himself he should be doing these things. This path is a direct track to Saul Goodman.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Can I help you?
Yeah, those eyes are unsettling really, aren't they? Just don't blink at all, buddy.
Jesus.
How long did they leave him out in the desert? Jesus, those lips are dry, sir. Damn. Hey, good on you, mate.
You woke up. That means my Spanish is good enough, and your Brenner over here is actually O negative.
What a gamble.
You should be okay.
Good work, buddy. Well done.
I never want to see you again. This cartel is too hot for me.
I don't know if you've got a choice, mate, to be honest with you. God damn, I thought that was Walter White for a moment, you know? Like, like season 5 Walter White. I don't know why. I don't know what was going through my brain, dude. Oh, Jesus. Why are you there, mate? That was lucky. Please tell me you got out of the room, though. Okay, man's got troubles or overworks. Fair enough. He's on the ceiling like Spider-Man, like... Oh, of course you're there. Why are you there, dude? No! I mean, okay, probably didn't have a choice. Fair enough, but my man. Not ideal.
I just want to come home.
I feel like Mike would have scoped the place out and found this, you know.
Honey, it is top of the line.
Did you try and sell to your wife?
It is a very, very expensive vacuum.
Okay.
What you're saying is I got to sleep in my office because I got you a gift?
What happened, bro? What actually happened? Because that sounds insane. You bought a gift. And she got mad. Why? Did you try and use it to like... on your never mind.
Are you still delivering?
Beautiful. Yeah. Get the pizza in, dude. Get a few beers, you'll be fine. Honestly, good night. This has turned into a good night, dude.
Yeah, just a large cheese.
A large cheese?
Yes, sliced, please.
Sorry, sliced. They had to ask you? Of course sliced. Never ask that if you work at a pizza place. Just slice it. Okay, I have received pizza that's not been sliced. Not been happy. It's a very small thing. Shouldn't be angry, but I am. Yes, I gotta work on myself. Shut up.
He's here. What? Come get me.
Bro, you got into this. You should have done some due diligence. This is on you. No. This isn't on Jimmy. I realise this is luck, right? This is bad luck. And it's like you almost can't prepare for that. Because like, who's to say that they didn't have that argument tonight and he got kicked out tonight? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no prep time for that. At the same time, I can't help but think that Mike wouldn't have got caught like this.
Importance.
This is urgency.
Why are you working, buddy? You got some pizza? Like, honestly, just have a good night. Wind down. You need to relax a little bit. There's sort of a deeper message here. This guy can't relax. He's in a negative emotional space. Wife kicked him out. And he's seeking comfort through improving himself as a professional. The thing he finds comforting about that? The dream of financial and professional success. It's the position the working class are pushed into. This dream of making it into a space remotely close to the rich elite. And why is he here in the first place? Because he took his professional persona into his home life. He did something that likely wasn't particularly good of him, and in his mind he's doing the right thing because he bought his wife a nice gift she didn't ask for. This represents consumerism and how tightly knit this plus the idea of work, 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 repeat are. And look where it's got this man. On the couch at work, without his wife's affection or goodwill, unable to truly relax and enjoy life because he's conditioned to think working himself to the bone for an unlikely to happen goal so that he can buy nice things is how you should live. Or at least that this is where his happiness lies, or what happiness looks like. I think the image of him here, unhappy, unable to be happy, and perpetuating the behaviors that got him here really paint a strong picture. I think it's also worth pointing out there's a good argument to be made that Jimmy made this man feel inferior in what he said to him, and that because of that, this man overcompensated the need to reassert himself as someone clever and capable, even to the detriment of his marriage. Oh, my man. You couldn't have found a cubby hole to hide in, then tried to get out? I mean... This guy would give up Jimmy. He's not Mike. We've established that already. Run, my friend. Okay, good. Scarpa, yeah?
Didn't say it was easy. Carthy was pretty slick. I don't know how you pulled that off. Worked though, didn't it?
A little bit reminiscent of Marco and Jimmy, eh? There, that little image there, and the, hey, that was slick, buddy. You know?
Paralegal survived barely, but he couldn't see faces.
I'll take care of it.
I think this is a gambit from Gus. I think he's trying to take over Hector's territory.
Find a local supplier on your side of the border. Cut a deal. Let me worry about Eladio.
Yeah, the little smirk. This is all due to his design, isn't it? Hello, Gale? Yeah? This is his supplier. Gotta be. Yeah! Oh, they hit me all over again. What happened, mate?
Golden protactinium and indium and gallium.
Yes.
Thorium and thulium and thallium. There's yttrium and terbium, actinium,
Gus, let him finish.
silicon and silver and samarium and bismuth, bromine, lithium, beryllium and barium.
Beautiful.
I wasn't expecting you.
Oh, my little cherub. I love him.
Oh, it's technical. I wouldn't want to bore you.
You dumb fuck. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry, Gus.
Certain benzodiazepine precursor compounds.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Gus's mistake was listening to Gale. Because it was Gale who pushed for Walter. Gale pushed and pushed and pushed. And it was because Gus trusts Gale. They have this relationship. I think Gus genuinely really likes Gale. And he was so set on Gale all the time. It was Gus pushing back. He was like, we don't need, it doesn't matter. We don't need that extra percent. Don't worry, you're my man. And it was Gale that was like, I can't, I know it's a small percent, but this is huge. Bring him in. And that's what undid Gus. I mean, this is the thing. I said that, what was it, last episode? There's a few things, I suppose, that undid Gus, right? Letting Hector live and, this as well. Small cracks in an otherwise infallible operation.
You should tell the chemist to check his or her cookware. It's introducing contamination.
Oh, thank you very much, Gale. I should let you get back to your work.
Bless him.
These samples aren't great. I could make a kilo or more right here. No one would know.
Really? He's so...
I wouldn't want to interfere with your studies.
Yeah, he's already so in, isn't he, Gale?
Please.
It's interesting.
It's the least I can do. I wouldn't let you down.
It's the least I could do. Yeah, whatever's happened between these two that has earned Gus Gale's loyalty, it's already happened.
And cadmium and calcium and chromium and curium.
I'm so curious as to whether the actor already knew that, could already do that, or he was given that task. It was like, right, learn it. Sorry, just little things, but I'm curious.
Really, really solid work.
Viola, mate, well done.
It took me a while to fall asleep, actually. But man, once I did.
Good one, yeah?
You want some coffee, Viola?
Coffee!
Oh, no, thanks. We're just finishing up.
Viola, cough. Sorry.
You could also start looking into federal charter regs.
Got it, will do.
This is good. And Viola, happy to have more work as well. Wants to prove herself. Awesome. Brilliant. Ready to do it as well. Interesting. Precedents being set. But good, also, preliminarily, that Kim is actually offloading work. Yeah, we're going to talk.
There's just a couple of things from talking to Howard.
Yeah, the letter.
So, how much do I get?
5,000.
Yeah. Do you know what sorry, I didn't mention it last episode, but sorry, I did because I was talking about other stuff at the time. But Kim was like, what was it, 4,000? And Howard was like, nah, 5. And what was it? It has to be 4,000. So I suppose Chuck gave an extra 1,000, right? It's almost like I'm the good guy because I gave an extra 1,000 I didn't have to. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of a move in that. And sorry, you see it, I think, in the way that Jimmy here reacts as well. It's like, it's not 4,000, it's 5,000. There's something a little petty about that in Chuck trying to rate himself as the moral high ground.
5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy's face. The laugh.
Pay off my MasterCard.
It's from Chuck. Nobody knows for sure what's in it.
Okay, we're doing it.
Let's see what the old boy has to say.
I think it's going to be kind. I think writing-wise, you got to write this as something kind. Because... Pause before we get to it. Again, I mean, I obviously talked about it last episode, but I think when you're writing this, because the place we're in right now, Jimmy's got, sure, you know, emotions are still stirring, still stewing, right? But that's all they're doing. There's potential, and I think he's doing his own stuff. He's, you know, doing the doll. He's occupying himself. To a certain extent, at least at the moment, the Chuck thing is, I wouldn't go so far as to say put to rest, right? Like I say, it's still stirring, still stewing. But it's stable, is what I'd say. And yeah, I just feel like the introduction of this letter right now is to stir the pot a little quicker, you know, stir it up. And I think the way you do that is to make this letter be actually kind. I think that's going to hit him harder because what he's expecting as well is something mean, right? The exact same thing that he's come to expect, especially during that last meeting. That was the behavior. That's what he, you know, got used to, and that's what he's been sitting with since the funeral and since Chuck's death. And I just think it makes absolute sense for the writers here to make this letter heartfelt from Chuck and actually nice. Okay, play.
You want to hear this, right?
If it's okay.
Go on. I'm so curious. I want to see if I'm right. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not.
It's undated.
That's right. Pause quickly. What did I say? What did I say? We don't know when this was written. It's undated. Now, confirmed, we don't know when it was written. So this could have been from years ago. We don't know, which gives more precedence to it being kind. Which, like, even if you know that context of like, okay, fine, this might have been written 5, 6, 7 years ago. He felt differently when he died. With that letter physically in your hands, reading those words, if it's kind, I'm going to look like such an idiot if it's just like, you, Jimmy. That's fine. I don't care. I'm very confident. I'm very certain at this point, if I'm completely honest. Still, with that physical piece of paper in your hands, with those words written on the page by Chuck, at a certain point, that still holds power. It doesn't matter if it was years before and he felt differently when he died. I think that still holds power. All right, play.
Dear Jimmy,
it's going to be horrible.
Left many things unsaid in our relationship through the years rather than all out. I hope you will take my words in the spirit in which they are intended.
Okay, seems a bit backhanded. Might be negative.
We have not always seen eye to eye. I expect that will continue to be so in the future. However, nothing will ever change the fact that we are brothers.
Yeah, there it is.
And though we are very different people, I want you to know how much I respect what you have made of yourself in these last few
Yeah.
You have taken the opportunity I gave you in the mailroom, and you have run with it, becoming a valued member of the HHM family.
Look
For
at
all
Kim.
the problems in your past, I'm proud we share the name McGee.
Kind. I told you.
Energy and resilience. I used
Brilliant.
to worry about
Brilliant
you
writing.
finding
Again, this is the writing choice you have to make. Considering the context they set up and what they've written, building up to this moment. It's so beautiful to like have this letter be kind and the way it's going to stir the pot. And Kim's right to be upset, and like this is all hitting her emotionally. Jimmy not so much. I think delayed response, right? Okay, sorry, I'm going to go back a second and we're just going to play.
in these last few years.
I also love that we're reading the whole letter, by the way.
For all the problems in your past, I'm proud we share the name.
By the way, sorry, I paused kind of towards the same point. I'm confident to say that I think this was written years ago. I mean, the impression it gives is that it's maybe a few, I don't know how long it was that he was in the mailroom for, maybe a couple years of him being in the mailroom. Sorry, my break and everything, I've completely forgotten the timeline and how long, you know, things actually were. But I'm confident to say that this is before all the stuff in the recent history of the show.
I sincerely admire your energy and resilience. About you finding a place in the world, but I'm not worried about that anymore.
I love we're on Kim here.
And I hope when you read this, you remember me not only as your brother, but as a person you knew was always in your corner. He signed it just Chuck. Corner. He signed it just Chuck.
Yeah, it's getting to him as well. You can tell it.
Sorry.
Hey.
Oh, man.
It's okay. It's a nice letter.
It's a nice letter.
Just give me a minute.
Oh, bless.
Kim.
And I think in this sadness that Kim's displaying is the sadness that I feel. Because what could have been, right? What could have been? That's a beautiful letter. And why? Where was that? You know what I mean? I find myself asking, like, where the f was that, Chuck? Why couldn't you have been that person? What, you know, everything got so twisted. Everything got so messy. And like, you know, look, I'll die on this hill. We got to this place in the show because of Chuck. It was Chuck's fault. Right? Chuck changes some decisions that he made, and the Chuck in this letter, and suddenly Jimmy and Chuck are brothers, right? You could have had that. And I think that the potential for that relationship and that love there, and I think that's beautiful how the letter acknowledges the issues as well. But the final conclusion is, despite that, you're still my brother, in Kim's face. She sees that too. She can feel that. And I think Jimmy's in a place right now of, he's not ready to feel this, right? He's not ready to really feel this. Kim is. Oh, sorry, I should have just let it play. My bad. But yeah, brilliant. And look, no surprises from me. I can't imagine I was the only one to predict that was going to be a nice letter. I feel like, you know, subverting the expectations of that when Howard is like, oh, he left you a letter. Like I've said, like I talked about last episode, the potential for that considering the context and how Jimmy is emotionally right now. How he's also acting right now and how he's kind of trying to deal with that and almost reverse this end that he can never change. God, that letter. That's not even vindictive, right? I think that letter was written before all of the recent history. So that's not a vindictive move on Chuck's part either, right? It almost makes it worse because it's genuine. I think that, you know, the words in that letter are genuine. They're not a lie. And I think I'm happy to kind of say that it's from before the recent history of everything that's happened. Genuinely in the show, actually, I'd go so far to say. So it's not some of what we've seen in the show, for example, with Chuck saying something and believing it but being wrong. It's like, oh yeah, I know you believe that, Chuck, but your actions aren't representing that. I don't think that's even the case. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's perhaps been written before the events of the show. So I think actually the sentiments in there are just 100% genuine, 100% true, and it makes it worse. It's more of a lack of resolution to their relationship because it's like, not only have we got what we got without the letter, now with the letter, it's like, look at what could have been if things had been a little bit different. Look at what would have been if you and Chuck had a bit more time and then he didn't have to die. Maybe. If you'd have fixed your relationship and you'd been there for him, because that was a big impacting factor, was that Jimmy wasn't there for him. And there's an argument to be made that keeping Chuck alive so long was Jimmy's involvement, and the change and what brought about the events was the absence of Jimmy through Chuck, obviously, and Chuck's decision making, but the absence of Jimmy. The last conversation that Chuck and Jimmy had was influenced more so by Chuck and Howard's relationship and what had happened with them, and he was lashing out at Jimmy, which is another splinter in this whole thing that's just twisting and painful, because it's like, that wasn't even about Jimmy. So that's more precedence to say, actually there was some element of, okay, there's a reality if the cards are played right for Jimmy and Chuck to eventually find some level of relationship 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, when things have just calmed down a little bit. Maybe Chuck has bounced back a little bit and recovered and gotten a little better with his mental condition as well. Do you know what I mean? God, this letter makes it so much worse. So much worse. And I think, like I say, delayed reaction from Jimmy. I think he's going to feel that eventually. But I think what we saw here, Kim's reaction, was that, yeah, something beautiful. Episode 3, there you go. And I think there's something beautiful about that letter, as painful and tragic as it is. Yeah. I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, if you're not subscribed, please do consider doing that. Thank you, genuinely, for those who support me. I've got Patreon, YouTube memberships down below in the description if you feel like contributing to that. Got some novellas if that's your speed. Written some books, so all in the description if you want to have a quick look. But if not, no worries. Better Call Saul Sundays will continue. So click on this video right here. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.